Hello there, and today we're doing an FPL preview for game week 21. That's right, it's another match day, and the deadline this week is the 30th of January at 11 o'clock. So get your teams locked in. This is my team selection video. I'll talk through transfers, captaincy, and many, many more things. So let's get cracking. So basically, who am I starting in goal this week? It's a difficult one, but at the minute, I've got, between the sticks, Edouard Mendy. He's a bit of a baller, and he got himself another clean sheet against Wolves. I did bench him against Wolves, but it didn't actually make a difference because Sanchez got me 6 points as well. So it's nice to have that option to rotate goalkeepers. If I had a postponement of a game or an injury, I've got that option to come in. But Mendy does have the better fixture this week against Burnley, so I'm going to play him, and Sanchez has got Spurs, so that's not a good idea. Mendy surely will start to get more clean sheets. Now that Tuchel has come in, I think they're going to start getting rebuilding their form and start basically from the basics, and that basics will become defending because they're leaking too many goals at the minute, and under Frank Lampard they were struggling, but I think Tuchel will really defend and help his defence to gain back some confidence, and Mendy is the start of that. So I think he's going to get a clean sheet here against Burnley, yeah, it's a good shout. So then in the defence we have, first of all, Aaron Cresswell. Now, what a decision it was, can I just say. Last minute stuff. I said in my FPL preview of Game Week 20 that I was going to bench Cresswell, and it was literally, I'm not joking, about 4:22, and I thought, hang on, is it silly to bench Cresswell? He's playing Palace, clean sheet likely, and we know Cresswell can get some attacking returns. So I thought, you know what, we're going to rip up the script, we're going to bring him in and make the substitution for Smith Rowe. And that was a great call, because Smith Rowe has now picked up a little knock, which is not ideal, and Cresswell got a lovely clean sheet, got a rise in price, and, oh sorry, not a clean sheet, but he got an assist, and he got a bonus and a rise in price. So it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So I'm relieved I did that at the last minute. But he's just such a good player this season, and I don't know, I might let go of him like late on in the season, but for now there's no need to get rid of him. He's just so attacking, and how he didn't have a clean sheet in the game is a shame, because Palace obviously scored in 3 minutes. But the point is, how did he not get more than one assist? You know, the ball in was pretty lovely, and from that free kick for the SOUCEK second, but there was that chance that he basically drilled at it, could have easily scored himself. It was similar to that one that he got the assist for against Everton. Really powerful effort, and then Antonio following up hits the post, and it was just so excruciating. So it could have been a bigger haul for Cresswell, but I'm still very, very happy with those 5 points. Now, he's got a very tough game this week against Liverpool, so yeah, it's not ideal stuff, it's got to be said, but the form Liverpool are on, you never know, and Cresswell can easily cancel out the lack of clean sheet with an attacking return. In the dream team, what a legend, and I think the sky's the limit for Aaron, so let's hope he can get something against Liverpool, but I'm not, resting my laurels on it, not resting my hopes on it. Then we've got Ruben Diaz, absolute baller. Now, Diaz obviously is keeping so many clean sheets, and he's getting bonus points as well. And he's got a game against Sheffield United, but Sheffield United beat Manchester United, and I don't think Man City defence owners should worry about that. It was a freak game. The second goal was jammy, a deflection off to Anzabi. I just think that we shouldn't look too much into that. It was one of those games that sums up the unpredictability of the Premier League, and Man City won't be touched by Sheffield United in this game, I don't think, unless Sheffield United have suddenly turned into the best team in the world, but no, I doubt it very much. They're still low on confidence, and Man City have still been the clean sheet kings, so I think there's a good chance for another return from Ruben Diaz, although to be fair, Man City's fixtures turn quite horribly after the next couple of games against Sheffield United and Burnley. I think they've got some really, really tough ones. So, yeah, I've got Diaz and I've got the double up at the minute, but it doesn't mean that I'll keep with that. Obviously, it's done good things for me. But with those fixtures, you've got to be thinking about that too. Now, my second defender, of course, John Stones. What a legend! He's already made himself an absolute legend of this team. He's written his name up in lights for that game against Crystal Palace with 2 goals. But again, with this game, I think Sheffield United away from home, they got the win against United, but they do really struggle for goals on the road. And Man City have been so solid. Hopefully that carries on, and hopefully Stones can get himself another attacking return. But it's going to be an interesting one, and I think he should be hopefully good for some points there. And now my fourth defender, I originally had a 3-5-2 formation, and then I changed it last minute to a 4-4-2. But this week we're going to go back to the 4-4-2. I think it's not locked in, but this is what I'm thinking. So KILMAN for the fourth defender. Now you might say, oh, that's a bit of a weird one. KILMAN's a bit of a bench player, but he's a cracking player, and he hasn't been playing recently, but it's good to see in the last couple of games Nuno has put his faith back in him, and he was absolutely brilliant in the game against Chelsea. Clean sheet against the top 6 team, and he's such a budget option. And Palace, I've said how, they did score 2 in that game, and really, apart from Zaha, they haven't got much threat going forward. But I've just got a feeling they'll really take confidence from that shutout at Stamford Bridge. To be fair, Connor Cody was also very, very good defensively, like a rock in that game. But the point is, KILMAN is getting games, and I want him to be, in the team when he gets clean sheets. And it was a shame to see him on the bench this week, but who'd have known that he'd have kept a clean sheet against against Chelsea. But a clean sheet against Palace is more predictable. So yeah, maybe we start him this week, see how he does, and if he doesn't play again, then maybe we have to get rid. But I just think at that price point, you're saving a lot of money. You don't need to necessarily change it about too much. So that's my fourth defender. In midfield, we've got Jack Grealish. What an absolute legend. My guy gets the goal when he gets transferred in. And once again, we've frozen, but there's not a lot we can do about it. Yeah, what a legend, really, to get the goal against Burnley. And finally, he's rewarded with a goal. And it was a bit of a catastrophic end to the game for Burnley. Because Villa went back up in front, but then Burnley pegged them back, and it was absolutely unbelievable scenes. So, yeah, Jack Grealish, I'm very happy to own him right now, and I think, yes, it's a fixture against Southampton you'd say could go either way, but Southampton have had a really bad run of form, so I think it's not too bad of a fixture. Then we've got Bruno Fernandes. I mean, he let us down in the Sheffield United game, but it's still Bruno Fernandes. He's still very, very reliable most of the time, so keep for the faith. Obviously, it's not an ideal fixture against Arsenal. Easily a game that he could blank in again, but you want to have him long term. Like it's Bruno. Let's not play it down. And then Thomas SOUCEK. Now, if it wasn't for West Ham doing so well, I probably would have got rid of one of my 3 West Ham assets, because the fixture against Liverpool is quite tough. But West Ham are in such good form, and Liverpool are in pretty poor form, that I could easily see some points here. So, SOUCEK, mate, you're a bit of a legend. Like, you might just have to stay in my team. He's just got so many goals, and it's something like more goals than, apart from maybe Bruno Fernandes, more goals than any other one playing in midfield in the league. It's like amazing. So his record is really impressive. And yeah, I don't know. There could be some more points there. So I'm going to keep him and see how he does. And then we'll reevaluate. But next to him is my vice captain this week. It's Mohamed Salah. The reason I'm vice captaining, because Liverpool have really gone off the boil recently, and I wouldn't be confident enough to captain him against a pretty good defensive West Ham team. But Salah is still Salah, and if Kane doesn't play, e.g. my Kane is my captain, so if Kane doesn't play, I think Salah's a pretty reliable man to pick up the armband points. But that leads on to Kane, who is going to be my captain this week. And the reason for that, he's playing Brighton. Brighton and Hove Albion have been a leaky team this season. And only recently have they started getting more clean sheets, thanks to the form of Sanchez. And Sanchez well done, son, you've got some points for me. But obviously I'm going to play Mendy this week due to that better fixture for Chelsea, and Sanchez is going to get benched this week. So basically I want Sanchez to keep doing well in the season, but if there's one week that he has an absolute mare, it's this week, because Harry Kane scores an absolute wonderful 4 goals in one game. Now, seriously though, I think Kane is so reliable, and Spurs against teams like Brighton, yeah, they don't score many in the past, 2-1 over them in the reverse fixture, 1-0 over Burnley, 1-0 over West Brom, but I still think Spurs are so lethal, so you can't count them out. They did destroy Leeds United, and they have destroyed some teams that you wouldn't expect this season. So you got to back Kane in this one, and I'm going to say my other forward is Michail Antonio. I mean, he's just a bit of a legend at this point. It was so unfortunate, though, to not get a goal against Palace. I mean, how did he not score? He literally just kept on going, kept on having chances, and kept on hitting the post. There was that one that was assisted by Cresswell, and there was also the one that he dribbles through and goes for the shot, and he just arrows it into that bottom corner, and Guaita is beaten, and it just rebounds off the post and, out for a corner. And how Antonio didn't score in that game, I don't know. But the encouraging thing is he's getting in all the right positions. He's having the chances. It just really wasn't his day in that game. And this is another difficult fixture against Liverpool. But at the end of the day, he always scores against Liverpool. And I just feel Antonio, a lot of people might sell him this week because of that fixture. But he's a good one to have, especially if you're, really liking the West Ham this season. I actually think they're doing really well. So, yeah, let's go with that for now. And then my bench is Sanchez, obviously very tough fixture against Spurs. Then Stuart Dallas, an equally tough game against a free-scoring Leicester City side that were held by Everton, but I still think they're very much a force to be reckoned with at home. And we know how leaky Leeds United are, so that's my thinking behind benching him. Then Smith Rowe is my second sub. Now, he could return from that injury, and there is a chance of the muscle injury. It's 75%, so it could be okay. Playing Man United, at the end of the day, Arsenal's young guns can score in any game, and we saw last season Arsenal had quite a good record against Man United, especially at the Emirates, with them playing, I think, in the Cup as well. But the point is, Smith Rowe is a great player to have, and he's got more point ceiling than someone like my third sub, BREWSTER. Now, BREWSTER didn't start the Man United game. He got subbed on very late on, and I don't think he would actually play anyway against Man City. If he does, then fair play, but he doesn't really look like scoring. So, I think Smith Rowe would have to be above BREWSTER, but he's not first sub Smith Rowe because of the doubts about his injury and because he's got a worse fixture than Stuart Dallas. But that is my bench, and that is my team going into this game week. But you're asking me, what is the one transfer I'm going to do? Well, obviously I took a -8 hit in game week 20, and, it was probably worth it because I had a great week. But the point is, I want to not take a hit this week, just so I can, get an even better score, basically. So I'm just going to make the one transfer this week, and I was thinking, I've got 4.1 million in the bank. Do I make the most of that money now and get someone really, really good? Or do I keep that money in there to try and get back KDB when he's eventually back from injury at some point? It's a good shout, but I just feel right now I need to get an upgrade for Emil Smith Rowe. Now, obviously his injuries played a little bit of a role in it, but also the fact that they've just signed Odegaard, and he's probably going to take up his spot. I mean, I wouldn't expect Bukayo Saka to immediately go out of that team, and maybe even Smith Rowe. We're back. Maybe even Smith Rowe, won't necessarily get chucked out of the team immediately because he has been playing well for that Arsenal team. But I just feel long term we won't want to have Smith Rowe because of that threat to his position. So I think he's got to go, to be honest. And I think Arsenal's fixtures aren't the best in the next few weeks. So it makes sense to make the move. And what I'm thinking right now, it's a tough one, but I'm probably going to go with to bring in, because I've got that 4.1 million in the bank. Bear with people whilst I just sort out. There we go. Because I've got 4.1 in the bank, I'm probably going to go for this. So let me just... So this is, by the way, this is my lineup right now without making any transfers. It's always a bit too, you know, a bit too bright, but we'll do what we can to show it to you. There we go. That's more like it. Yeah, that's my team for this double game week, this single game week, for game week 21 so far. But what do I do to change it? Well, what I might do is I've got 4.1, so I could go from Emil Smith Rowe, which leaves us with 8.5 to spend, and we could go and get ourselves a little bit of, yeah, a little bit of, if I can actually find it, there we go, a little bit of James Maddison. That's right. What a juicy little transfer that is. I mean, it could be a great shout. It does still leave me with 1.3 in the bank for future weeks. And it is quite a tempting transfer. And I've got a plan that I could keep going with to build up to, at some point, using one of my chips. Who knows which one, but we'll talk about that nearer to the time. So I could do that. That's a very tempting one. Obviously, it's kind of nice, actually, that Maddison didn't return against Everton, because then his price would have gone up, and that kind of would have slightly pushed back my plans a bit. But he's not got a goal there, and he's gone a little bit unnoticed. And to be honest, I think in game week 20, the decision was, in order to replace KDB, do I get Maddison or Grealish? I went with Grealish, but it'd be nice to have both. The only issue I've got here is that if I wanted to have Salah, Fernandes, KDB, Grealish, then I kind of can't do this move, because I've got 4.1 in the bank. So if we kept Smith Rowe and then we upgraded SOUCEK, oh no, even then we couldn't do it. All right, no worries. No, which move was it we were going to do? Actually, it doesn't actually make a difference. We can't. There's not. I don't think there's a way that we can keep Grealish and get KDB back. So, yeah, that's a bit annoying. Oh well. So it probably will be Maddison, to be fair. That probably does look like the most sensible move. Well, if we got rid of Grealish, that would give us 11.8, which is just about enough to spend for KDB. But I don't know. Obviously, I think KDB might be back at like game week 25 or something, or game week 26, around that time. I mean, do I even want to get him, to be honest? Because it's a bit of a weight to keep all that money in your bank, and I think I've got to move on. But if I did want to, I could get rid of Grealish and get in KDB. But I've only just got Grealish, so it seems a bit illogical to do that. So I'm going to revert back to what I originally said and get rid of Smith Rowe. So Smith Rowe is out the door, but it's just about who replaces him. That's the question we've got to ask ourselves. And I don't actually worry about having 3 West Ham assets against Liverpool. Like, the form there's been in, and the form that Liverpool have been in, which has been pretty dodgy most of the time. It could be points. And obviously you've got to think long term. Long term, do I want a West Ham triple up? Maybe I do, you know. After Liverpool, they've got Fulham, Sheffield United, then another bit of an iffy run, and then they've got Leeds, who obviously we know are leaky. And it's interesting with their run at the end of the season, they've got a collection of about 6 or 5 games where they haven't got a single red team on the FDR fixture difficulty ranking, or rating, I should say. But the point is, they might just be good to hold on to the end of the season. But we'll come to that, and maybe we'll change it up if we want to. But I'm getting rid of Smith Rowe, and we've got to that conclusion. So for 8.5 million, who do we get? It could be Maddison, or it could be let's just see who's priced at 8.5 basically. Why is it not showing? There you go. Okay. Total points. Right. Okay. So for 8.5 million, who can we get? Well, we can get Pulisic. Now, Pulisic is a bit of a risky one. We don't know how well Chelsea are going to do. And yeah, I suppose they have got, you know, a nice fixture against Burnley. But after that, they've got Spurs. they have got Sheffield United and Newcastle, so the fixtures aren't that bad. And then they have a nice little patch between game week 30 and 34. It's a really tough one with Chelsea because they've just not been consistent this season. And Christian Pulisic has been having injuries and struggling in front of goal. I feel like there's risk associated with that transfer, but it could be done. Now, if I go for Pulisic, then that's my Chelsea option, but it's very unlikely that I go for Kai Havertz. We've just slowed down a little bit there. That's a bit weird, but Kai Havertz has been even worse than Pulisic, so I doubt I would get him. Ziyech, maybe, but I just don't see any form from Chelsea. Obviously, they beat Luton in the Cup, but, you know, a 0-0, a 2-0, a 1-0 against a Fulham team, you know, it's not really calling me, is it? Not at the minute. I could go for 8.1 million Riyad Mahrez, but again, I don't really like that because there's an uncertainty about starting. I think the only Manchester City options you know are going to start is probably, I mean, you could argue Laporte's going to come back soon, but the way Stones and Diaz are playing, probably not. So I think the Man City options that are probably more nailed on than most of them is probably, well, I wouldn't say Cancelo. Even though he just had an amazing game week, I still wouldn't say Cancelo because they've got so many options. They've got Walker, they've got Mendy, they've got Zinchenko. So yeah, just hold fire with Cancelo. But I'd say Diaz, Stones, De Bruyne when he's back from injury, obviously. And maybe I'd say Sterling. But apart from that, there's no Manchester City option that's really nailed. I know they're playing so well. I suppose maybe Gundogan, but I know they're playing so well. But it's still Pep Roulette. Pep Roulette happens all season, whether they're winning the league or whether they're, you know, down in the Champions League places. So, yeah, just treat Mahrez with caution. He's a good player on his day, but yeah, I don't know. Rodriguez, 7.7 million, just scored against Leicester. But is that too knee-jerk? Probably. I mean, Rodriguez is an interesting one. He's got some decent fixtures against Newcastle and Leeds in the next two. And then he's got Liverpool, Man United. Again, with Everton, you know, they got a draw out of that. If they'd have beaten Leicester, then maybe it's a bit more of a, you know, tempting case. But there's just this unknown with Everton at the minute. Paul Pogba, would I really go for him? I mean, a lot of people are saying you need a second Manchester United asset to, you know, back up having Bruno Fernandes, but I just don't think Pogba is going to sustainably get goals. He's got goals recently against Fulham and Burnley, but nah, I'm not about Paul Pogba, and I'm equally not about Nicolas Pepe. What a waste of money, and yeah, nah, I'm just not about it. So I think the contenders, I mean, I could get Wilfried Zaha, but with Palace, I said already in this video, despite their good fixtures, they just don't score many goals, and I feel like there's too much reliance on Zaha. He can get goals. He has shown that, but yeah, I'm just not liking Palace this season. It's as simple as that. James Maddison, I think, is the number one option that we could go for. We could also go for an interesting one in Harvey Barnes, but am I absolutely loving that transfer? Not particularly. I think Maddison's better, and I think that Barnes sometimes blows hot and cold. He's recently been blowing hot, but just don't like it. Mason Mount, obviously, I would have gone for him if Frank Lampard was at the team because he takes set pieces, he's always playing. But with Tuchel now in charge, I feel like there's more doubt over that. Because you've got to think about it. Getting a Chelsea attacker is risky. They have so many options in that team. They could easily get rotated out. Yuri Tielemans could be a shout, but all I see from him is goals from penalties. And yeah, he scored against Everton, but I don't think he's going to keep it up. So I just think Maddison, or maybe I go for Ross Barkley. Nah, he's far too you know, injury frequent. And we've also got Jared Bowen, but nah, I don't want I can't get another West Ham player. And obviously Phil Foden, I still rate Phil Foden. If minutes wasn't a thing in fantasy, I would 100% have Phil Foden like this season. He's absolutely amazing, but you just don't know he's going to play, and nah, I'm just not about it. So, in summary, I mean, we could get Bukayo Saka, to be fair. But Arsenal's fixtures aren't too brilliant, and they've only got 2 green fixtures in the next 7 game weeks. So yeah, I don't like that. And Arsenal, I said about Odegaard, and I just think eventually Arsenal's form will decline. So basically, the conclusion we've reached is we're not going to get Mason Mount. We're not going to get Tielemans. We could get Wilfried Zaha. Don't rule it out. We could get Maddison. And we could still get James Rodriguez. So those are our options. It's Rodriguez, Maddison, and Zaha. So which 3 of those is the best one? Which one of those 3? Now Zaha faces Wolves, which is quite a nice fixture at Selhurst Park. Rodriguez has got a bit more of a juicy fixture, you'd say, against a really struggling Newcastle team. And Maddison, well, Maddison faces up against the team that he actually did. I'm pretty sure get a he got an assist against in the reverse fixture against Leeds, and Leeds are leaky, so it's very tempting to go for Maddison. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna go for Maddison. I'm going to stick to my original plan, Smith Rowe to Maddison. Let's hope that works. And it is locked in now for game week number 21. So that leaves me with 1.3 in the bank. And this is my team in its final form for game week 21. So feast your eyes on that absolute beauty. We've got Mendy, Sanchez, Dallas, Stones, Cresswell, KILMAN, Diaz, SOUCEK, Fernandes, Salah, Maddison, Grealish, Brewster, Kane, and Michail Antonio. So that's now locked in, and that's my transfer done. In terms of selection, I'm definitely going to play Maddison against a Leeky Leeds, hence why I'm benching Stuart Dallas. So that means that what we will be doing actually is playing a... Do we play 4-4-2 or a 3-5? Nah, we're not going to play a... We could play a 3-5-2, to be fair. I'm going to go for a 3-5-2. That's what I'm going to say. So therefore, it's harsh, but once again, we're going to bench Aaron Cresswell. He's playing Liverpool. All right? So, my formation is 3-5-2. The selection, Mendy, Diaz, Stones, KILMAN, Grealish, Fernandes, SOUCEK, Salah, Maddison, Kane, Antonio. I think that's a cracking team. So, yeah. I hope I don't regret benching Cresswell. And genuinely will bench Cresswell this time. I know I said that last time, but it was a better fixture, so that's why I changed. Liverpool at home. Surely, I know Liverpool have struggled, but surely they will take away the clean sheet, and I don't think there'll be an attack and return for him. There might be attack and returns for Antonio and SOUCEK, but not for Cresswell. I don't think. So there's a bit of risk with that, because obviously we know how good Cresswell is. So that is why Cresswell is going to be my first sub. So if, for example, for some odd reason, Jack Grealish was benched against Southampton, Cresswell can come in, and that makes it a 4-4-2 formation. And if, say, Kane didn't play, or, I don't know, KILMAN didn't play. Yeah, if KILMAN didn't play, oh no. Yeah, that's fine. If KILMAN didn't play against Palace, which is a much better chance for a clean sheet, then I do think that Cresswell is a great, basically a great substitution to come in. So that's my team locked in. Cresswell first sub, Dallas second sub, and Brewster third sub. Lovely stuff. Right, that was a long one for my FPL preview, but make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe for more FPL content, and obviously check out my FPL Game Week 20 review if you haven't already. But yeah, that was a fun one, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.